Hey guys!
Hi!
Welcome back to
Welcome
Woo Woo
back.
Mamas.
So we have some really interesting stuff to talk about today. Um, it feels like it was so long ago when this happened.
I know.
I was
It was a long time
Was
ago,
it in
actually.
August?
How can that be?
I think it was in August.
Wow.
Now we're
We're almost 8 months pregnant now.
it's January.
It is not
It's
January.
November 25th, and this happened, I think, at the end of August. But
Yeah.
if you've been following our podcast, you'll remember that I was convinced I was having a boy, and surprise, surprise, I'm having a girl. And we thought that it would be really powerful to talk about the experience that I had and the experience that we think most people, not most, but some other people have, and that it's okay. So in terms of like gender and sex of the baby that you're having. So when we went to the beach, we had that envelope. Do you guys remember? I won't make it. We had this envelope with this question mark. I convinced my
From the
fiance,
doctor.
from the doctor.
Not just a random envelope.
With the sex of the baby. I convinced
Yes.
my fiance that we were having a boy. I convinced myself. I got attached to it. We
Yeah.
opened the envelope and we were both like, wait, what? It's a girl?
Yeah. And the picture was super confusing.
Oh yeah, I wish I would have brought it. Well,
yeah.
But
It looks like there's no distinguishing features to make it a girl or a boy.
Yeah.
And it said like teeny tiny, it's a girl, right?
Yeah. So we opened it, we're like, it's a girl. And it feels even weird to be like sharing this because there's so
Yeah.
much like shame and even like sharing that for a little while. We experienced, like, we went to dinner afterwards. We made reservations, like thinking it would be like this big celebratory thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were still obviously like happy, but we were just like, oh, okay, we're having a girl. Like, it took us a second to shift all of our planning and like,
yeah,
because
because at that point you had like totally planned for a different life.
Yeah.
Not a different life, but like, you start to like visualize. I mean, I know because I was doing that.
Yeah.
And when you told me, I was like, oh my God.
You were in like such
I got
shock.
nervous. Yeah. I was like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. So it took, I don't know, like a day or two. Actually, I think it took my fiance just a little while to like be totally cool with it. It took me a little bit longer. And I felt so guilty and bad about it that I remember like I started searching the internet, like feelings of like, I don't remember what I typed in, but maybe I put like shame around like finding out sex of baby or whatever. I remember too that we were planning on having a gender reveal, and we were like, thank God we didn't have a gender reveal, because if you're attached to what it's going to be, we would have had to like pretend like we were yay for like the next
around
3
a bunch
hours.
of people.
Yeah. So some of you might be thinking I sound like a total asshole, and that's okay. But but it did take me a second to just accept, like, okay, I'm having a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. And I'm like beyond, I mean, I'm even more happy I'm having a girl than a boy now. It's so funny how your mind can
It's
shift.
that whole like this or something better.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember in searching the internet, if it was like normal to have this experience of maybe not being like so elated when you find out what you're having. I actually came across a lot of chat boards around people saying like, no, this is actually like a real thing that is, we don't talk about in our society because there is a lot of shame around it, of like, wanting to have a specific sex and having something different, especially if like you've had 3 girls and you really want the boy and then you have another girl, so it made me feel better.
Yeah.
And then I got over it quickly, and obviously like I'm so happy now. But
because I feel like going into it, you thought it was a girl. You wanted a girl.
I don't know.
Or you didn't even really care either way as much. But then it was just like, oh, you did. You really wanted a girl. Okay.
And then I was like, oh, it's a boy. I think she just had like a lot of masculine, like strong energy.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I was really feeling, and I was like,
well, you
really,
were doing a lot of healing around like your dad's
yeah,
stuff.
I was.
So, I mean, who knows if it was like her or even just like you and what you were
The
experiencing.
energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think the lesson is like, this is my ongoing lesson with everything in my life. Like, don't get attached, right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
or something better, which
Releasing
we love that
expectations.
mantra. And then it brought up us talking about doing a podcast episode on this because we started talking about, well, of course, like some people would have that energy of like really wanting a boy because,
Right.
you know,
There's like that
ancestrally,
societal like push for it, kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, like back in the day, like, I don't know, Vikings or Celtic people or Scotland or whatever, like
Yeah.
men were warriors, right?
Yeah.
Even in China, like if you had a girl, didn't they kill
Right.
their baby girls?
I mean, I know in some places it's kind of like
Yeah.
really sad what they do to girls.
Yeah.
Because it's like more valued to have a boy, and it's almost like shameful to have a girl.
Yeah.
There's like different cultures that, and yeah, it's just like, it's interesting too, like the way that people are like, oh, you're having a boy. You know, I mean, we're both having girls, so I don't know, I'm not hearing that. But
Yeah.
like when you hear that from people, it's kind of like esteemed to be having a boy or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's interesting.
Oh, yeah. And then there's that other part of this whole thing that I just realized that I'm so happy that just came to me. But I remember, and I shared this with my fiance, I remember him being really excited to have a boy because in his family line right now there's a granddaughter and there's no grandson yet, and he has a sister and a brother. So like for him to bring the first the male, because the male carries the name. I'm just like getting this right now. I think it's like conditioned societally in us. I think especially for men, right? To like, okay, I get to like provide. That's like such a weird word to say, but the first male to carry on the family name.
Yeah.
So I remember I was disappointed because I felt like I was a disappointment. And I shared this with my fiance, that he wouldn't be able to have that to give his parents.
Right.
And that we're having like another girl. And so I felt like, I personally felt like there was like...
That's
like
so sad, actually.
Yeah. And I think that's why it took me a little longer to shift into being like so excited and grateful to have a girl. And I also think, I'm just getting this right now, that's why I conditioned myself that we were having a boy.
Wow.
Because I knew that. I heard his parents even saying something like, oh, they can't wait to have like a grandson.
Right.
And I was like, I'm having a grandson. I'm the one that's going to do it.
You're going to bring the family honor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine women feeling like that for eons from the past, right?
Right. Even though it's not like quite that way in our society anymore.
Right.
Like it's still in us in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. So how do you think that you prepared differently, maybe like emotionally or mentally, to have a boy than to have a girl? Because now that you've like switched, or did you?
I don't know that I thought about that yet. Yeah. I think it's like, if you want to, I know we started sharing about, oh, we're both having girls and talking about like sexuality and all that stuff. Right. That's when I really started thinking about it. But yeah,
because I mean, I was always pretty convinced that I was having a girl.
Yeah, you were.
So I felt like for me, one of the big parts of this pregnancy has been about like healing my own femininity, so I don't push any of that like wounding onto her, you know, specifically around like loving my body, which obviously I've done so much work around, but of course, like we've talked about this, like pregnancy just brings up more and more layers of healing if you're open to it, you know? And we're open to it.
We're like so
maybe
a little bit wide.
Maybe like too open to it, because sometimes I'm like, I need a break from all of this spiritual healing.
No, it's wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's great. But, well, no, it's great. No,
wait,
it's
yeah, it's great.
So I mean, especially around like body image and, you know, like where my worth comes from and like sacred sensuality and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been like, I mean, there's so many reoccurring themes in this pregnancy, but that's a big part of it is just like really cleansing that and like healing that within myself so that I can be as empowered and like, you know, sure of myself and like feel worthy and pass that on to her.
Yeah.
Because I know that, you know, I mean, I love my mom and she did a wonderful job, but like, you know, she has a lot of insecurities and stuff. And um, just the way she was brought up was different. So it's like a lot of that I saw and I picked up on and absorbed
Yeah.
as a little girl, you know, and thinking that I needed to be on a diet at the age of 12. I put myself on a diet and like, you know, and not even just from her, but I picked it up from other places too, that my worth came from my appearance or from my body or, you know, what people thought of me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I just want to do my best to not pass that on to her, to heal that in myself first. And then, yeah.
That's so beautiful that you were able to like get those lessons, right? And I know for me, I had a lot of the same things too. I've healed so much around, well, I've told you this already, but I'll tell you. I mean, you basically are just said the same thing, but just really quickly. For me, I recognize that like my parents didn't really talk to me about sex other than like, do not have sex because you'll go to hell. Yeah. Yeah. And you need to have a promise ring until you're married. Yeah. And don't we, like you can't wear that because like you know, men are dangerous. So like if you wear that short skirt, like they're going to look at you the wrong way. Like I was like terrified, right? Yeah. Like
there was a lot of shame.
Yeah.
It was such an interesting combination because it was like from one angle, it was shame around my body. And then from another angle, it was that my worth comes from my body and how I look. Yep. Yeah. So it was like a very like these like mixed messages that I feel like for a long time I walked around kind of trying to like flaunt my body and also always change it. But feeling very guilty underneath it all and very like unhappy about it.
Yeah, that was my exact experience, like wanting to get attention from the outside, right, about my body, but then immediately feeling shameful. Yes. Right? About like getting that kind of attention. It's always been such a like ding, what's this called? Like a I don't know, two balls hitting each other and then just nothing's happening.
An explosion? No.
Anyways, back it up. I don't know what I just said, but we really got to, and we talked about this, and we're so like grateful to have gotten this lesson and to be able to share this with our daughters and you. Yeah. That we're so committed to sharing with our daughters when the time comes that, you know, our bodies are sacred. Right. Like sex is sacred. It's not like you're going to go to hell. It's like sacred. Like your body's sacred and you choose when you want to do that. Like I'm not going to have the conversation right now. Like no. Emma, can you please just like practice conversation? But that's a totally different energy than like either not talking about it. And again, my mom did the best she could with the tools she was given. Right.
But again, like feeling so much insecurity around it, and I'm sure also feeling her own level of shame around it. That's like this awkward thing that they don't know how to like bring out and share in an empowered way. Yeah. Right? It was very much like fear-based.
So fear-based. Yeah. And also really, and I don't know what this is going to look like, but I know you have the same commitment. It's like, you know, you are so much more than your outwardly appearance and your body and your looks. Like, and I don't remember being told that, but somewhere along the lines I picked it up really early that like, you know, I need to look a certain way to be worthy, right? Right. And so I'm just so committed to our daughters, like, you know, knowing that they're beautiful and they're also intelligent, right? Right. I heard go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's the other thing is that noticing how like anytime people see like a little girl, they'll be like, "Oh, you're so pretty," or "Your outfit's so cute," or "I like your hair." It's like
Yeah.
always commenting on their appearance, right? And like little boys, you don't say that. You're like, "You're so strong,"
Yeah.
which also gives them a complex that they need to be these big, strong, like.
Yeah.
So it's like telling them what they are, like reminding them what they are, not telling them what to be, but like reminding, you are so strong, you are so smart, you're so creative, you're so silly,
Yeah.
you're so fun, you're so
Yeah.
whatever. And yes, beautiful too, but like that's just one piece of the pie.
Right.
That's not like all they're programmed to need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I notice even when I see a little cute girl, I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. I remember one time my friend who's a child, I don't know if she's like a child psychologist, she's something like that. I remember I said that to a little girl and she was with me and she was like, and you're also really smart, I was like, and then she told me about it and I was like, wow, yeah, you're so right. Like
we don't think about that. Yeah. And especially when this was something that, for me, I don't know about you, but like princesses was like the big thing, like the Disney princesses. And, you look at them, the way that they're drawn and they're like little tiny waists and big hips and big boobs and like, it's like Barbie dolls.
Yeah, Barbies.
Did you know what Barbie dolls were before they were Barbie dolls?
No.
So I forget the exact story. And I mean, I've read the story online, so I hope it's true. But it was like the wife of the owner of Mattel or something like that, the big toy company. I hope this is true.
If not,
I'm sure it is.
Leave it off.
She was like, I forget where, in Germany or something, and they had these little dolls that were like sex toys, kind of like for men to have like on their desks or whatever. And she didn't speak the language or something, so she bought one for her daughter because the daughter was like getting too old for her baby doll. And the guy was like, oh my God, like, let's make something like this. And I don't know, who knows if this is true or a myth or whatever, but basically they're based off of these little like sexy doll figurine things. And they became children's toys. And I mean, like, I remember as a little girl looking at my Barbie and being like, wow, like she has big boobs, like she has a tiny waist, she's like, she's got long skinny legs, know.
And same with Ken doll, right? He's like perfect, like chiseled.
And it's like just all those little things, and like the Disney princesses, and also, I mean, I think that now the stories are a little bit changing in the cartoons, but when we grew up, it was like damsel in distress,
Yeah.
How can I be saved? How can I be...
So true. All of them are saved at the end. Right? We get this idea that we need to be saved.
Right.
It's going to be so interesting mothering a girl, but I'm so excited. I mean, lessons on lessons on lessons.
Right.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite Disney princess?
I loved Ariel.
Oh, okay.
I loved The Little Mermaid.
I loved The Little Mermaid, but I watched Aladdin so many times that the VHS broke. We had to buy a new one.
I also loved Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, I loved that one too.
I never watched Cinderella or Snow White or
those ones. I felt like
they were like old.
Yeah,
they were like too like washed up. I'm just kidding.
I also loved Pocahontas.
Oh, I loved Just Around the River Bend.
I love the song so much.
I love once more.
And like the way she like would run and stuff, I was just like, oh my God, she's so graceful and beautiful.
I loved Pocahontas. But that was when we were a little older, right? Like 11 or something.
I don't remember.
Oh, I'm older than you.
A little bit. So anyway,
Alyssa just had her birthday though. Happy birthday! Yeah. So anyway, I think the other thing I want to share is, so my mom is passed, and I know that by having a daughter,
Yeah.
I have started to really, A, heal at a deeper level with my mom,
Yeah.
and B, have just like this new level of compassion for the way all the things that I have made her wrong for how she raised me.
Girl,
And we don't
yes.
even have the babies, obviously, our babies yet. So I'm sure it's going to just keep growing and growing.
Yeah.
But I used to be like, my mom was so strict, she didn't let me do things
Yeah.
that my other friends could do. And now I see
Yeah.
like she just was trying to like protect me, and
Yeah.
that's how she knew how
Doing
to.
her best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's
Oh my
like
God.
I've just been like healing so deeply with her. And you shared.
I mean, I feel the exact same way. Like, yeah, like our babies aren't even here yet, and I already have like this deeper level of understanding of like where she was coming from.
Yeah.
Whereas like
So
before, I
beautiful.
like knew she was coming from a good place and everything, but I feel like so much closer with my mom already, and like any like grudges I held against her for whatever, I feel like they've all softened and like been able to release, and like I feel like I have such a better relationship with her. It's
Yeah.
so interesting.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
We actually we know of this Kundalini Kriya. It's called Ma, M-A.
Yeah.
We want to share it with you. If you've lost your mother, even if you had like we realize everyone has like their different relationships with their moms,
Yeah.
and some are really challenging. But if you're open to healing, if they are present on this earth still or past, this is a beautiful meditation to really just like heal with your mom.
Yeah.
And like, and it
And not
happens
even
in
just
layers.
your like direct mother, but like the entire idea of mother.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were talking right before this, even if you have like the most amazing relationship with your mom, but you're pregnant right now, like stepping into your own motherhood.
Yeah.
This
Because
will
it's
be
a new
beautiful.
phase of life. It's like a new chapter and
Yeah.
version of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for today's Pixie Dust, we're going to share this really beautiful Kundalini mantra meditation. I'll let you explain it.
Okay, and so just so you guys know, we're going to be putting the song in the show notes because we can't technically play it on here for copyrighted reasons. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but you know that kind
We're
of stuff.
just going to play it safe with that.
We're just going to play it safe. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to sit in easy pose. If you don't know what that is, it's just your legs are like crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce.
And you have a straight spine, and you'll place one hand over your heart, whatever one feels comfortable, and then the other hand over that, and you'll be in this position for the entire meditation. It's generally 11 minutes, but if you need to start with 3 minutes and jump up to 5, like do what feels right for you.
Into it, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read a little bit about it, but as you chant, call upon and become one with the Divine Mother. Fill your body, aura, and inner space with the love of the Mother. In our oneness, our mother wounds and our mothers are healed. Isn't that so special?
Beautiful. So
And
this
like,
is... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So this is really great, like you said, for anyone that has lost their mother or has a difficult relationship with their mother or wants to step into a more empowered version of themselves as a mother.
Yeah.
Or even just wants to connect to like the mother.
Right. Like Mother Earth. Like
and you don't even
all
have
mother
to be
archetypes.
Pregnant. You don't have to be, we've been talking about having girls, but like if you're having a boy, this is great too. It's really for anyone.
Yeah. I actually remember doing this before I got pregnant and like streaming tears down my face because, my mom's passed. So I connected to my mother, but you could do it at any phase in your life. It's such a beautiful song. I'm really sad we can't play it for you guys, but you'll hear it because you'll see it in the show notes. So basically you're going to just, put one hand over your heart and the other hand over the other. Close your eyes and focus in at your third eye point, which is the pine cone space right between your eyebrows. And you're going to breathe in and then start chanting. It's Ma, Ma, and it does different tones. So you just follow the song tones. And it's just such a gorgeous, beautiful meditation. So, yay!
Oh my God. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it so much. Let me just make sure that, after you're done, Oh, also, this totally opens up your heart space.
Yeah.
So you'll be connecting to your heart space and you will feel like a shift in your heart space. If you want to do it the traditional way, you can do it for a 40-day Kriya. That's like the Kundalini. But if
so
you
do
don't,
it every day for 40 days in a row for 11 minutes.
Yeah, I could only imagine woe-ness of like magic that would happen from that.
That might be a beautiful Kriya to do like postpartum.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you have any fears around being a mother, I know like some fears are coming up for me. Like, it's beautiful for anything. And when you're
everybody
done,
do it.
The last thing is when you're done, let yourself sit for a moment or two, like maybe even a minute, and just imagine all the energy of love all around you and let it like penetrate your whole body.
Beautiful.
And
I love that.
And she's wearing a green jacket for the heart chakra.
Oh my God. I think she's colorblind, you guys. This is clearly blue, right?
Okay. So let us know. Call us. We've talked about this before. We have our hotline. Just kidding. No, but how cute is this jacket? We're going to go shopping after this. Okay.
But I really want to know, is this green or blue? Please put it in the comments because it's blue.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see you later next time on Woo Mamas. Like us, comment us, follow us on Instagram. Merry Christmas. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.